Popularity doesn't always equal quality, and these comments that I found about a particular webtoon series totally support that idea.
Gue suka cerita. Cerita apa aja? Dari mana aja? Dalam bentuk apa aja? Kalian suka cerita juga? Then come right in, cause that's what turi kata oge is all about.
Hello, welcome to Turi Kata Oge. In the last video, I talked to you guys about 5 webtoon series that has the highest rating, especially in the English version. And in this video, I will be talking about some webtoon series that, despite of their great qualities, do not get enough spotlight, in my opinion, and that totally pains me. As always, though I love these manhwas, I do not by any means approve of or justify just everything that is put into these manhwas, and I will only be talking about a few of them here. So if you guys know any other webtoon series that are just as amazing but are not being read by enough people, please let us all know in the comment section. Well, I have a few on this list, but I mainly want to talk about a particular series, and you will see what that is. So just keep watching. First up is When the Day Comes by Omil. There's a girl and there's a boy. They go into the same high school, and they are bound by their unique names. And they were dating for a while. Yes, were, it was in the past, and their classmates kind of shipped them a little bit too hard, and nobody in their class knows that they have already broken up. So why is that, you may ask? So there's this festival that everyone is looking forward to, and our 2 main characters are assigned to be their class representatives for the dance parade, so that they plan to tell their classmates about their breakup after the festival. And that's where the story starts. So this series only has 52 chapters, and it is a completed series. So yes, I have finished reading it, and I can tell you guys that it is a really well-written story. The main timeline is set in only 2 days, which is the day before the festival and the day of the festival. And later you will see another day, which you can only find in the last chapter. Despite that, there is a lot of flashbacks, and boy, I'm telling you that the flashbacks are just amazing. The story doesn't only revolve around our 2 main characters. We will also witness their friends dealing with their struggles, and also learn about what each of them, including our main characters, expect from the day they're super excited about, which is the day of the festival. I truly appreciate this story, and I haven't been able to find a proper word to describe its amazingness. I highly recommend you to read this. It's short, it's truly meaningful and heartwarming. You will get a lot of insight on many things actually, and yeah, go read it. It's so awesome. And the next on the list is Parallel City by Goda. Right at the beginning of the story, we are introduced to our main characters, and his name is Min Choi. I believe his name in Korean is Choi Min Hyun, who is a parkour enthusiast. At that time, it is only a few days or weeks before his high school graduation, and it has been 11 months since Min's best friend, Jong Kim, disappeared. Despite what everyone says, Min refuses to believe that, Jong is gone, Jong is dead. But somehow that day, Jongri appeared and comes to school. Of course, seeing his friend is back, his best friend in fact, is back after 11 months. Our main character is filled with overflowing joy, and yeah, he's just focused on having his friend back. But then after their graduation party, Min accidentally witnessed a peculiar murder where the butcher of his neighborhood kills the butcher, if you get what I mean. And that event is followed by the death of Min's coworker. And the thing is, his body disappeared just a few days after his death. So that's what I can give to you guys for now. And yeah, this story does give a vibe of a mystery suitable with the label that WEBTOON give to this manhwa. But it only lasts until half or 2/3 of the first season, and this story has 2 seasons, so yeah. So what's the story about? What kind of a story is this? This story is genre bending, I would say, and you will see what I mean if you read through this story. And remember that the title is Parallel City. Keep that title in your mind. So, well, that's a hint. And one thing for sure though, this webtoon does have quite a lot of actions. And as for the action elements, I would say that Parallel City has the most realistic action scenes, and here's what I mean by that. In a lot of comics, manhwa, manga, whatever, the action seems to just be the wow factor of the story. And if you think about it, the action is quite unnecessary. The characters might just have to communicate a bit better, and the problem could be solved with no blood involved, you know. But in Parallel City, I would really say that the actions are needed. Our characters need to do that to survive. And yes, this is another survival story. But yeah, it's realistic, though it's not super realistic, I would say. And this manhwa does contain a lot of gruesome scenes, so I would recommend you to be mentally prepared before deciding to read this story. I do kind of get why some people do not continue on reading this manhwa. My suggestion is that first, the pacing of the first few chapters are a bit too slow. Secondly, the titles of the chapters are a bit too intimidating. So this manhwa is divided into several chapters, and each chapters have several parts. So some chapters do have titles that will make you anxious, especially knowing what happens before. So you will predict what happens in that chapter, and it's not really encouraging by any means. Despite that, I do have to say that the writing in this comic is just awesome. The system, the world building, the events that is happening in this story is well crafted without making the plot overly complicated. And you might also find that the drawing is not the most sophisticated or advanced kind of art style that you will ever find in webtoon, but I think it's just about right to deliver the story. another thing that I really love about this is the characters. At first you might find our main character to be too oblivious, like, come on dude, can't you see what's going on here? But as the time goes by, he grows, and that is truly satisfying. Also, the author also succeeded in creating an antagonist that I totally despise. And I'm telling you that I rarely hate or despise a fictional character this badly. This one fictional person is just, ugh. I really hate him. Like, the worst. And also, I really appreciate the emotion that is portrayed in this manhwa. It is just superb. I love it. The last thing I want to say about this manhwa is that by the time I'm recording this video, it is actually the day when the last episode of this manhwa is released for free in the WEBTOON app. So go check it out before your access is limited, you guys.
Hi, editing me here. I just want to hop on and tell you guys that apparently it is not the last episode of the series. It's just the epilogue for the second season, so the story is not over yet. And we still have to wait for the third season to come, although we haven't got any lead on when the story is gonna continue. Nevertheless, I still encourage you guys to read it because it is so good, and it drives me kind of nuts knowing that not so many people know this. So go read Parallel City. It's so good.
The last but definitely not least on this list is After School Lessons for Unripe Apples by Soon-ki. I've talked about this manhwa in the last video, and I will talk about it again and again and again because it is so freaking good and I adore it. The story is about Mie and Chol. Mie lives in this city where, unlike other cities in South Korea, middle schoolers have to take the entrance exam to enter a high school. And yeah, Mie is currently in the middle school. Unlike her friends, most of her friends and most other middle schoolers, she doesn't go to any cram school. So our girl is this energetic person who loves reading comics, watching movies, hanging out with her friends, and sometimes fangirling over some idol groups. So that's the kind of girl she is. And she has a lot of traits that you will find really awesome. And then we meet Chol. One day, Chol, a boy Mie has met in her childhood in the countryside, transfers to her school, and he doesn't look so good. In this story, we will see how Mie tries to befriend Chol and how both of them go through their final year in middle school. And by going through final year of middle school, I mean studying. And you heard me right, studying. That apparently that can be a really interesting topic to be brought up in a story. And aside from that, we will see a bit of drama here and there, and we will also get to know our main characters, obviously, and we will see why they act the way they act, and finding out about what they really want, what happens. So that's a bit of a gist of what the story is about. This manhwa is funny. It is incredibly funny. This keeps me squealing and chuckling. It is so adorable. The story is set in the late 90s, so there will be a lot of Korean pop culture references in the story, especially, of course, the ones in the 90s. And the school life and the, studying is portrayed, depicted realistically, so I love it. If you're an Asian or if you live in Asia, I think you will relate to many things that is brought up here. So I really love it. I assure you guys that you will love our main girl, and you will also care a lot about Chol. They are just so precious. This is refreshing. You will have a fun time reading, especially on the weekend. I highly recommend you guys to read this. Soon-ki has done a great job through this manhwa, so go check it out. So that's all for this video. As I said, this is only a few of the underappreciated, I would say, webtoon series. There are definitely other comics in the webtoon app that deserve more reader, more appreciation, and I might make another one of these, so keep an eye on that. If you like this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up and share this video if you want more people to read this webtoon. And of course, if you guys have read any of them and you want to talk about them in the comment section, please do that. And I hope we can have a nice discussion there. Also, as I mentioned earlier, if you have or know any other webtoon that are just as amazing as these three that I have mentioned, please let us all know in the comment sections below. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for your support, any kind of support for this channel. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys have a nice day. Stay healthy, stay happy, keep on growing, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!